Here on Treaty 7 territory, nestled in the Rocky Mountains with the mighty Bow River at an altitude of 1,309 meters. Born from coal dust in 1884 and ever-changing, this is Canmore and we are Canmorites, and this is the Canmorite podcast. Let's go. Hey everyone, it's me, Jeff, from the Canmorite podcast. I'm away on a conference right now, the FCM, Federation of Canadian Municipalities, and I'm with one of my dear friends, fellow councillor just up the valley from me.
Barb Pelham from Banff.
Barb Pelham, first-term town councillor, just like myself. Barb, here we are in the capital city. How are you doing?
I am good. It is a rainy Saturday, so this is a good thing to be doing, since we're not outside exploring the Rideau Canal.
Yeah, and so, well, thanks for taking the time to talk. And so, here we are. We're, in just leading up in towards the next part of summer. And like yourself, you've probably come off like a pretty challenging term, like I have, on Canmore. And how have you been with this first go-round as a councillor?
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's a huge transition. Pre-council, I worked my entire life at Canada House Gallery, and it's a very front-facing business. So my role in the gallery was really building a community. I would almost call it a cult of great Canadian art, and staff who love great Canadian art, and clients who love great Canadian art, and building like a win-win-win out of that. So the idea is that happy clients buy great artwork, which makes happy artists and happy staff. And together it was just a really positive environment, and I loved it. And I was also pretty exhausted and sort of reached a point where we knew that we could pass it on to good hands to carry it on to the future.
Okay.
So that was, we finished it beautifully, passed it on, it continues, which is really satisfying. And I took a big chunk of time off and I said yes to everything. I had a year of saying yes. I accepted every invitation to go for dinner, to go for hikes, to go hiking in Utah, to go do yoga in Greece. I said yes to everything, and it was amazing. And then,
Yes. ...
I got bored.
Oh, you got bored. How long did it take to get bored during that 1 year off?
It took about a year and a half.
Okay.
I got bored. I loved it. I skied all the time.
Yeah.
I paddleboarded. I did everything. But I got bored.
So after that year of hedonism, what did you decide to do next?
Yeah, well, I decided to run for council. I figured that's not going to be easy. That'll be hard. But it also felt like a real privilege to be able to dip my toes in and give back.
Right.
So running your own business, you build this world, this universe of that exists around your business, your artists, your clients, your staff. That's what everything is about, your artists, your clients, your staff. Repeat.
Right.
But I kind of realized once that was over that I really wanted to protect and to serve the community that I love. And I love Banff. I've always loved Banff. I grew up in Banff. I adore it. I cherish it. I want to be part of what makes it great and why it should be a great place to live. So it felt really important to me to lean in. And I know it won't happen on its own.
Right. And so I know at one point in my life growing up, I always thought I would do some sort of semblance of public service if I was fortunate to do so. Was that the same for you, or did this sort of something triggered at some point during that year off?
No, it didn't.
Oh, okay.
I was very, I would say, centered on my goals as a business owner and what would benefit my business, which was my artists, my clients, my staff. Like it was so intently and internally focused.
Right.
So I think it took that, that year and a half off of just free playing and just, broadening my horizons and going, this is just so amazing. I need to contribute. I can contribute. I have the privilege of having the time and experience to contribute. I want to do I want to help Banff.
Yeah, well, that's awesome because I think, we all do things for a multitude of reasons. And I think if the primary reason is to like a deep love of where we are and trying to make that a better thing, that's huge. And so what was one of the toughest lessons you've had during your term?
Oh, golly.
Because, man, I've learned a lot of tough lessons myself.
Well, I think definitely one of the biggest challenges was the division within our community that was the
Okay.
result of the ped zone, and I feel like
Pedestrian
that's
zone.
just the pedestrian zone. Yeah, I feel like that saddened me that
Okay.
it became so contentious, and yeah, I think that's probably the biggest challenge. And I say that not being surprised that there was a challenge. I think going into council, I knew it'd be hard.
For sure.
I mean, of
Change
course
is
it's going
hard.
to be
People do
hard.
not like change.
Well, and I knew the work would be hard. Decision making would be hard, and I didn't expect it to be easy. I didn't expect any of it to be easy. But I think what maybe caught me off guard is how vocal people can be, and I'll say particularly on social media.
Absolutely.
It's rough. It's really rough. And, keyboard courage is a thing.
Yep.
And, it's hard when you see what people are writing, and some things are really mean. They're really rough. And then they see you in the grocery store and they're like your good buddy. And they want to
Hey,
say,
Barb, how are
hi.
ya?
And
It's
you're
like,
like, yeah, actually, I don't want to have that conversation. Like, it's not that I don't want to have a conversation with you. It's disingenuous. For you
Right.
to be super mean on keyboard and then super friendly to my face, it's like, how about we just talk? How about we sit down and have a coffee? How about we actually talk? Because we're humans and we
Yeah.
live together. We live in this community together, and I'm not going anywhere and you're not going anywhere. So let's figure out how to be friendly and maybe disagree. That's fine.
Sure.
But check the vitriol. Like,
Yeah.
it's not productive.
It's probably one of the biggest reasons why I think people decide not to run again. It's just the sheer level of, well, I think at times it can be abusive. Like, I don't think we necessarily signed up to get that sort of stuff. And I don't think people necessarily should feel they should have the right to treat elected officials in the way that they do. Because at the end of the day, it's not really helpful. I think for myself, one of the interesting challenges of being a counselor is, like, coming in as a rookie, I have one idea of how things are. But then over time, as I learned, like, the various layers and processes and pieces, I become more informed of how things work. And did you ever find that became an interesting piece for you as well?
100%.
Okay.
Absolutely. Okay, so the example that comes to mind right away is when we were campaigning. It was 2021, so we were just in the second year of having a pedestrian zone in Banff. And one of the questions that Rocky Mountain Outlook asked us was, do you foresee having a ped zone into the future? And at that time, because we hadn't really recovered from COVID yet, our traffic numbers were still down. Bus traffic hadn't returned, et cetera, et cetera. I remember I said something to the effect of, I don't think that we can handle it with the return of buses and with all of the vehicles that will be coming into the town. So Rocky Mountain Outlook quoted me, and that's fine. Okay, so gradually we get increased traffic, and gradually we try different measures to mitigate that traffic, and gradually we adjust what's happening on Banff Avenue, and we change some of the structures, the gates. We changed some of the patios. We got rid of the tents the first year. I don't know if you remember the big white tents.
Yep, for sure.
Kind of looked a bit circus-y. So things evolved. They were massaged, and I felt that it got better. We also had data that told us that with Banff Ave closure, we were actually reducing the amount of traffic that goes over the bridge, and the times were getting better with the advent of the Mountain Avenue transit lane. Even though it wasn't perfect the first year,
Nothing is perfect when it
it's
first
getting
starts.
better.
Yeah.
But the amount of time required to travel from the south side of the bridge back to the north side of the bridge was actually less than when Banff Avenue was open for cars.
Yeah.
So information happens.
The world changes, information happens. Yeah.
Data is presented to you. You can see the evolution of things. So yes, I changed my mind because there was more data, there was more information, we could see some progress. And I think that it's essential for council to be open to changing your mind. I don't know if you want a council that goes in with black and white views and will never stray from those black and white views. I don't think that that's going to be an effective council.
No, I don't really think you get the best governance. And for sure, like, it is a hard piece, but I think like the quality of a councillor that's sincerely trying to do their best is you do have the ability to have your mind turned. I know a lot of people were disparaging myself, I think, when I was running, as I was going to be like an anti-development level councillor. And there have been multiple times I've been on term where I voted for various development projects that I thought were great.
Yeah.
I also feel like another lightning rod issue when I think all the way back to 2021 was the fabled A&W intersection in Canmorite. That was like that was like the big punching bag. And like, I'll admit, at the time I hated it, but after getting on council and seeing what was going on, understanding why it was so challenging to use at the beginning. There was like, for example, like the software system wasn't available. So the first run of the intersection, they had to use something. And so lessons have been learned. And I honestly feel the intersection today, while it is a different type of intersection, it does work better. Right? But I'm actually kind of proud to say that I can be educated and actually not just hold to like dogma or like succumb to my ego and be like, I said that back in this time, I'm only going to say that if reality can prove otherwise.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I think, I mean, you want to stay true to your core values. So
Sure.
my core value is that I love my funky little mountain town.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I grew up in Banff. It's in my soul. I just adore the place. So I will really try to do the best thing for the town and for the residents of the town. It's near and dear to me. And, one of my favorite things to do
Yeah, give me a story about that, for sure.
Favorite thing to do is to ride my janky blue 7-speed bike, my Townie, to ride it around town with my puppy on his leash.
Okay.
I just love it. It fills my heart. I love tootling down by the river and the back streets of Banff, and he is so happy, and he's grinning and waving at people with his floppy ears, and I'm grinning and waving to people, and it just fills my cup. I love it. Yeah. What's your favorite thing to do, Cameron?
I got a lot of favorite things. I think one of my favorite things is just like being out on the trails, riding my bike, having those moments where maybe I see someone on the trails and we're doing a mutually happy thing, like riding our bikes. Or there's those moments where there's no one around, and you turn a corner and you see a sight that you've seen 100 different times, but the way the light is, the time of the season, maybe my mood when I left that ride has set me up for a receptivity of that moment that I didn't really have. And I think that's really beautiful. Let's talk about issues here. Like in Canmore, I feel our biggest issue right now that we're struggling with is livability. But obviously that's just my perspective. For you as a Banff councillor, what do you feel in your heart at the moment right now is the biggest issue that the town faces?
I would say livability. I'd say housing.
In Banff?
Housing and congestion, but housing primarily, because housing is a requirement for life. I mean, congestion you can get around. It's annoying, but it's not about your living situation. I think absolutely housing. And, I feel really proud of the changes that we made to the land use bylaw. They were massive. And I know there are some concerns in the community about how we changed the land use bylaw last summer. So number one, we decoupled the parking requirements from housing. And people are really worried about where the car is going to park. And, I'm very worried about where the people are going to live. And unfortunately, Banff doesn't have room to do both all of the time. We have room to do both some of the time. But to require parking spots per housing units in Banff has really choked off development. It has absolutely stymied housing development, and we're still short 700 to 1,000 units of housing. Like, we have 0% occupancy in Banff and have had for years. It's dire. And people are living in really unsafe places. They're
crazy living situations.
gross.
I know.
It's
Yeah, I
gross.
remember talking to one of our fire chiefs, and there was a situation. There was a home in Canmore, and basically, I think at their last count, there was between 12 to 16 people in it.
Oh yeah.
The people in there were working
yeah.
shift work. So what happens is like
yeah.
6 to 8 people will occupy the house half the day,
Yeah.
and then when there's their time to get up to work, they would flip the beds, and the other guys would come in. And
Oh,
it was
they're
just
lucky
like,
they flipped the beds.
it's
gross.
It's crazy, and so these people are trying their absolute best. They are literally
Yeah.
like running the
Yeah.
levels of our community that
Yeah.
a lot of us frankly are not interested in doing those jobs, and so they really are in some ways like a critical lifeblood for how to build
Absolutely.
value works.
They are also the next generation of people who will settle in Banff, people who will live in Banff long term, people who will raise their kids in Banff, people who will become councillors, people who will lead in our community. We need to be considerate of the next generation, not just of ourselves and my personal needs. This is not about me. This is
Right.
about making sure that we have a community where there's hope for that next generation, where there's inspiration, where people want to contribute and be part of our community. We need that, and we need to take care or change bylaws so that other people will be encouraged to develop housing so that those people will have that hope, that
Right.
inspiration, contribute, stay, be part of our fabric of our community. We need them.
Yeah, I think one of the challenges we face in Canmore, and like, let me know if you feel this is something that happens in Banff. There are some people in Canmore that they've been fortunate enough to be here for a while, and some of them have been here for a long amount of time, and they're not really exposed to the same pressures that the younger generations have.
Right.
Like housing was a totally different situation when they got into the housing market. Wages were a different sort of level. So these people have. Well, essentially, a lot of them live in a situation compared to what many people would feel is quite privileged. And with that, they also have the resources,
Right.
and they're able to mobilize in certain ways to like push against council. And I think one of the challenges and great ironies for me when I'm sitting in the chair is that when I'm doing public hearings or where I'm hearing from various people, I can hear from a very vocal, privileged group that have the time to do it. And a lot of times the people that I feel I'm trying to represent in our community have been silenced by the sheer workload of their lifestyle.
Absolutely. Even though I was coming from a place of privilege, I remember when I owned the gallery,
I come from a place of privilege
I was
too.
working. I never went to council meetings. It didn't even occur to me to go to a council meeting. I was just
Yeah.
up to my eyeballs, work and family.
world of art in
oh my
Canada House.
gosh, and kids. And there was no time to follow what was going on in council, never mind to show up or write a letter or be a voice. And if I can hop back a few minutes,
Absolutely, Barb.
you were asking me about, has your opinion ever changed from blah, blah, blah? Here's one.
Okay, lay it on me.
Paid parking.
Let's talk paid parking.
Okay.
Arguably one of the most contentious issues in any community.
Holy
paid parking.
doodle. Okay, so when it
Holy
was
doodle.
first presented in Banff, I owned the gallery and I was livid. I'm like,
Yeah.
are you kidding me? This is nuts. There's no way we can ask people to pay for parking. That's absurd. They already pay to get into the park. Canmore doesn't charge for parking. There's no way Banff can get away with charging for parking. It's absurd. I signed the petition.
For sure.
There was just no way I was going to support it. No way. Not happening. So that was what, in I can't even remember, 2014, 2015, I don't know, whenever that was. I signed the petition. I was a big, no way, Jose. And then it got passed through. We implemented it in 2021, 2020, 2021.
Right around pandemic.
Yeah, pandemic. And here we are, 2025. It is generating $7 million for transit, for e-bike rebates, which is the most popular rebate program we've got going. But most importantly, we've just been able to spend $1.4 million on fire smarting our town. Not one penny of tax money went into that.
Right.
It was the visitors. And to be clear, it has not deterred a single visitor. I don't know about not a single visitor, but let's just say this way. People pay. They are paying $7 an hour, and they are, I'm not going to say content to do it, but it is an extremely successful effort. So have I changed my mind? Yes. Would I vote against paid parking now? No way, but I sure would have 10 years ago. There's no way I would have supported it. So yeah, my mind has changed because I've seen the data, we've test run, we've massaged it, we've morphed it, we've gradually incrementally increased the paid parking. And the beautiful thing about it is that 99% of the revenue, the $7 million that comes in from visitor paid parking is paid for by visitors. Visitors. So as a municipality, we do not have the ability to create a tax, any sort of a specific tax. The Alberta government will not allow us.
There's so few tools for revenue.
Right? Visitor paid parking is a beautiful tool to help visitors, help us pay for our town, for our services, for our safety, for our transit. It's amazing. So, you know, to the people who really worked so hard on dreaming up visitor paid parking and implementing it and creating the whole program, kudos and thank you.
Yeah, I remember when I had a business, well, I still have my business, but I remember when I heard Banff was doing paid parking, I was like, holy cow, that's going to be a win for us, because at that point we didn't have any paid parking. And I was like, why would they give up that competitive advantage? And then, you know, I got on council and we were massaging through the entry of our paid parking program, and I was pretty nervous about it, but at the end of the day, it works, and it's a massive revenue generator for the town.
Well, and I think when we sold the business in 2018, and I remember in that last year, I remember people parking out front of the gallery and walking in with a $20 bill and looking at me and saying, where do I pay? Like, how do I pay for parking here? I don't get it.
Right.
Like I realized people expect it. Because in Calgary, downtown Calgary, you pay.
Crazy prices.
In Vancouver, you pay. Most of our visitors are coming from cities where they pay for parking.
Yep.
They're used to it. It is the norm. So we don't have to be embarrassed about it.
No,
We
like
don't
Banff
have
is
to
like a
feel
world-class
bad.
destination. If
That's
there,
right.
there is a limited thing such as parking,
Yeah.
I don't think it's unreasonable in people's worldview now in 2025 that if you're going somewhere worth going, chances are you're probably going to have to pay a little bit to park.
Yes. Yeah.
And so moving beyond, say, the paid parking stuff, what do you feel is like the biggest opportunity that Banff could receive in these next few years?
The biggest opportunity. Well, I would say it's housing. It comes back to housing. So with the changes, before we made the changes to the land use bylaw, on average, the town would receive between 20 and 30 development permits for new housing units per year.
That's it?
Yes,
Okay.
because of the parking requirements.
Right.
You know, people would have to dig an underground parkade to build a 3-story apartment building on a lot.
You just
It's
can't
too
do it.
expensive.
You can't
The
do it.
math doesn't
The cost
work.
of building now is crazy.
The math just it wouldn't work, so they weren't building. Since we passed those land use bylaw changes last summer, we have almost 300 new housing units
Yeah.
that have asked for development permits. Like, it's working.
Yeah.
It's working. So in terms of opportunity, I think we have more ability to see new homes being built for people who live in Banff today, and we need them.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably the most exciting thing that I can think of off the top of my toque.
Yeah, it's quite fascinating because, you know, parking is a contentious thing. People love their cars. I get it. I have a car. I love my car. But at the same time, like when we are in these situations as community builders, it's more important for us to house people than to house cars.
Exactly.
And we're getting close to the end of the interview, Barb. Here we are. It's like the month. We're almost in June. We're almost in June. We're getting close to the end of our respective terms. Have you put any thought towards running again? You don't have to tell me, but I thought I'd just ask you.
I will tell you what I've been telling
You can also keep it-
everybody.
yeah, for
no,
sure.
no, I am going to be straight up with this. I don't know.
Sure.
I will decide at the end of the summer.
Yep.
And the reason I say that is because in February 2024, I had a really bad, traumatic fall at the ski hill.
I remember
And
seeing you in that crazy brace.
it was nuts. So I was on the backside of Louise, Saturday of Family Day weekend. I was skiing with my friend Leslie. We had a great run down Whitehorn. It was beautiful. It was chalky. It was great. So we took Paradise up, dropped in on ER3, far left skiers gully, far left gully. And Leslie was 100 meters below me, and I took a turn around that big boulder, 3 turns from the top, and I lost my balance, hit a rock, I don't know, but I started tumbling, somersaulting down through all the boulders. I plowed through her. I didn't even know I hit her.
Right.
It was bad. I fell about 250 meters.
The long ride.
And I felt my knee tear apart at the top when I fell. And I really did tear it apart. I tore my ACL, my MCL, both meniscus, and I fractured my tib plateau.
You pretty much decimated your knee.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was really hard.
That's traumatic, Barb.
It was really hard. And you know, you're sort of wondering, how didn't I hit my head? Like, why didn't my neck break? Why did nothing else get hurt? Like how did I come through that? Anyway, long story short, last summer was brutal. I was on hard rest all summer. I tried to reduce my swelling and heal, and it was determined I needed a new knee.
Oh, wow.
So I am now bionic Barbie.
Okay. When did that new knee come in?
October 30th, 7 months ago.
Yeah.
And so this summer, I'm just reclaiming my world, my life, my activity, the physicality of my world, which is a really important part of my life.
Yes.
So, you know, cycling, hiking, golfing, paddleboarding, doing things with my friends, with all kinds of friends. I feel so grateful to have so many different groups of friends. They all mean the world to me, and I just need to do that as well as my council work this summer, and I will decide about campaigning at the end of the summer.
Yeah, well, I think that makes sense. Like, this job takes a massive toll. It takes a toll on me. I know it's taken the toll on all my other fellow councillors. I don't think anyone that's gone for this job and does it in a meaningful way emerges unscathed. And I think it's really important and actually really intelligent on your end to kind of feel like you are whole to make a smart decision, a decision that's best for yourself.
Yeah, thanks.
All right.
Yeah, it's a big one. But in the meantime, I'm reading all my packages,
We're chugging
doing
away.
my work.
We're here at
and
conferences
we're here.
learning. Yeah.
And you know, honestly, it's very satisfying in that way. And one thing I've loved is contributing and being involved in working with other people for decisions and for consensus. It's very fulfilling. You know, even when things don't go perfectly, which they often don't, but it is really fulfilling work. And I am very grateful to the residents of Banff for supporting me in the past. It's really meaningful.
Okay. Well, Barb, I think the town of Banff is lucky to have you. I know you've tried your best and you're sincere. And thanks so much for being on the show.
Thanks, Jeff.
All right.
All right, bye.